Hi everyone, I'm Alicia. Today I'm going to be talking about the ID selectors versus the class selectors. Today we are going to look at, I have some basic HTML pulled up here. And I already wrote one in CSS to make sure it was linked correctly. And let's see what that looks like in Chrome. Here it is. As you can see, the CSS says to make my name blue. I'm going to be modifying this page with ID and class selectors. So let's see what those look like. First of all, what is a class selector and what is an ID selector? A good way to remember it is an ID is for one, just like your state ID or your driver's license. That's an ID. It's for just you. When it comes to HTML, an ID selector is just for one statement here. A class selector is going to be something that's for the whole class. Just like a class is more than one person, a class here is for multiple lines, multiple things. So how do we name and apply ID and class selectors? Well, here, since we don't have a whole lot, we're going to have to add some more. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to add an H1. Let's make it an H2. And I'm going to say, since I can't type today, I have no idea what I just typed there. Please ignore that. I'm going to say hello. And then I'm going to add another paragraph and say, just want to say hi. Like I said, I can't type today, so please excuse me. So, when we are looking at ID selectors, as you can see over here, this one, to make it work in the program, it doesn't need an ID or a class selector. That's because it in itself is the final work. I mean, we don't have to do anything to those, but it will change. Like if I come over here and I say, let's do an H2, and I want to make the color of the H2 red. I like red, it's a good color. I'm going to save. Let's see what happens over here when we refresh. Okay, sorry about that. I had to fix something real quick. For some reason, my computer made two different files when I told it to make one. So, now that that's fixed, we're gonna come over here and see what happens. See? Red. But look. So I forgot to save my HTML here. Now it's important. Make sure you save it. So we come back over here and refresh, and see, I got this little paragraph down here that says, hello, just wanted to say hi. But see, you can see that this is red and this is red. What if I just wanted this to be red? Well, that's where the ID selector comes in. I come over here to my H2 and I say, I want to give you the ID, just like it says. And you hit equals, if I can type. Again, if I can type, equals. And then we're going to call this state, because that's where I'm from. That's my state. So now we're going to save this before I forget. And how do we write this into here? Well, when we're using an ID selector, what we do is we say, instead of just H2, we put this little guy in here. It's called a hash. Now, when we save this and come over here, you can see that something went wrong. Hold on and I'll... Okay, so what I did here is instead of it being hash H2, I forgot, silly me, to write the name state. So you want to make sure it's the exact same here as it is over here. And you see I don't have a capital S here, but I wrote one right here, so this won't work. I have to make sure that this is a lowercase s. And now we save. I don't want to save as, that was the wrong button. Save. And then we can come over here and refresh again. And you see this one turned red, but this one's still black. That's an ID selector. It specifically selects one item. So now, a class selector. A good class selector we can use right here in our unordered list. So we come inside the brackets, the angle brackets, and this time we just write class equals, and we're going to say list. Now then, to save time, we could go through and type that out. For some reason that's indented. We could go through and type this out everywhere we want this class selector to be. Or we can just copy and paste it. So I'm just going to copy and paste it. Make sure I got my space there. And then I'm going to save this. Now then, how do we take the class over here to the CSS? Well, in order for us to have the class listed, this guy, we need to do this. It's just a simple period. And we're going to write the class name that's list. Again, it has to be exactly the same. Can't be any caps if the other doesn't have caps. And what should we do to this one? We should give this a background color. So we're going to say background. Look. Background color popped up. We're going to give this one a nice, I don't want to do yellow, let's do orange. No caps. O-R-A-N-G. Yes, I spell that out. It's kind of funny. I always have. Okay. So we're going to save this. Double check that I saved this. And we're going to refresh over here. See? Awesome. We now have a background for our list. So that is the class selector versus the ID selector. We'll probably be using both. I'm not exactly sure. But it's good to know when you have to use the class selector versus the ID selector here. Because, you know, HTML needs it. And it's very important because the computer won't work right and won't look right if it's not pretty. So another example real quick of the ID and class selectors, and I apologize, it's going to be a mess, is something that I did last year, and show you what this looks like for an actual website. Is this right here. Now this, all of this is CSS. all of it. Otherwise, everything would be lined up right here, just like before. Just like on all the other websites we create without CSS. So the ID selectors, there's a lot of them in here. As you can see, not all of them are working. But that was my first website, and I can fix that too, so I won't right now. But it's very important to have a good knowledge of the ID selectors versus the class selectors, so that we can know where we need to use them and what we use them for, and so that we can make our pretty little websites like this into a nice website that can be used. That's what the CSS is supposed to do, and the class ID selectors are just tools that we use to do that, to select them specifically. So I hope I helped somebody out, and I hope y'all have a great week. Thanks.